My name is Lou Brown and I have Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. I also have multiple strictures in my upper GI tract caused by Crohn's. So I got diagnosed in 2004. I'd probably had it quite a long time before that. I had to fight very, very hard, and a lot of people that have Crohn's do. It's quite hard to diagnose Crohn's, and I never had the primary symptom, which is being a stick. It took them quite a long time to diagnose, and it was only when they did colonoscopy and a gastroscopy. I was totally relieved when I got diagnosed with Crohn's because it meant that I wasn't being a baby. And I'd had years and years of being told that there was nothing wrong with me, or it was something really minor, and it was like, you know, don't make a fuss over it. That hopefully somebody was going to be able to do something to help it now, you know, because I'd had like 20 operations on a fistula before I had my diagnosis. But the reason I was having the fistula was because I had the Crohn's. It meant that finally somebody was going to hopefully get something going that was going to stable it out a bit. So the thing is with Crohn's is that it's a disease that bounces up and down. So one day I could be completely normal, function normally, look normal, do all the normal things people do. And then the next day I can be in unbelievable pain, vomiting all the time, constant diarrhea, not able to function. So it's a disease that kind of bounces up and down, and you never really know how your day's going to pan out. Every day I wake up and for about 10 seconds I lie in bed and think, okay, how's the day going to be? How's the day going to be? Am I okay today? And if I'm okay, I can just get up and be fine. And it's great for me when I'm having a good day. I think I enjoy good days better than most normal humans enjoy a good day, because for somebody with a disease, it's absolutely joyous. And other days, if I'm having a bad day and I know it's going to be a bad day, I kind of have to just accept it quite quickly. You know, I've learnt not to fight against having bad days. Like I used to kind of have a bad day and go, no, I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to carry on doing normal things. But I think I've learnt over the years that if I'm having a bad day, I just have to go, well, that's how today's going to be. Today's going to be looking down the U-bend of my toilet for most of it, or being in pain. And I think the hardest thing is, if I'm having a bad day, is hoping it's not going to get so bad that I'm going to end up in A&E. Family life is quite hard. I had children unexpectedly. Like, we were told I couldn't have any children. So had I had known that I could have got pregnant, I probably wouldn't have had any children. And that's the truth, because I don't think children should have sick parents. I think it's very difficult having children, for them to, although my girls are great with it, you know, they've had to grow up with it and they are phenomenally good. And I think in some ways it's been really good for them to have a mum with the disease. Does that make any sense? Because they've had to learn that they don't always come first. They've had to learn that they can't always have what they want immediately. You know, they've grown up with me being in and out of hospital. They understand medically what's going on. They are extremely patient. They're very kind. And I think they've learnt those things because I'm sick. But there's also the side of it that, as a mum, I want to protect them from. I can remember when they were really little, when they were just sort of maybe 18 months, 2 years, and I was having quite a bad phase with my stricturing, and I was vomiting all the time. Like, I would vomit all day long. And I was Don was at work, I was on my own with the girls, and I can remember being sick in the toilet. You know, I was just being sick and looking over, and Harper was just staring at me at the side of the toilet, you know, and I've learnt to be sick without making a fuss, you know. I can just and be like, oh, fine, mummy's fine. It's great, don't worry, love. And you know, so they're fine with sick. My kids have no problem with vomit or diarrhea. They're good with all of it. But they then, not long after that, I noticed they started playing a game together. So I have twin girls, and they started playing a game together called Mummy Sick. It was like a game they played. It was like a role-playing game where they would get the bucket and they would run around and pretend to be sick in it, and then they put the bucket on their head, and they thought this was the most hilarious game ever. And as a mum, your heart's broken, because you're like, I don't want that to be my children's lives. I don't want them that's what mummy is to them, somebody who is sick all the time. But in another way, I was kind of really proud of them, because they have no fear of it. They have no fear of hospitals, medical procedures. I made the decision very early on that I'd be totally open with my girls about the disease and how it works, and they come into hospital, they witness me being cannulated, and I explain to them what the doctors are doing. My consultant's amazing and will sit with my girls and talk to them about, he sat with Harper the other day and talked to her about, what they were doing and why they were going to operate on Mummy. I feel so sorry for people with Crohn's that have to work full time. I couldn't do it, and there is no way that at the moment, because I'm not stable, that there's no way I could manage to work full time. I couldn't stay awake for the whole day to work full time. I couldn't. That's another big symptom, is being exhausted all the time. So I actually lost my job through my Crohn's when I worked at social services for a long time, because I had so much time off sick, and totally understood where they were coming from. An employer needs their employees to be at work, doing work. And I was in and out the hospital, and with Crohn's, there's no answer. There's no end point. There's no, it's going to go on till Friday and then I'll be fixed. Like, this is a lifetime thing at the moment. So I left that job. I've been very, very lucky that I've got my own business, which basically we built around my disease, because I had to find something to do, which meant I could spend part of the day being sick and part of the day being able to earn some money. So I was just very, very lucky that I've got my own business. The social life part is the hardest part for me, because I'm quite sociable as a person, and you can't really fully engage like normal people would do in socialising. So because some days I just won't be able to function. I can't, as much as I can promise people that I will be there for things, weddings, hen weekends, 40th birthday parties, all the stuff I want to go to. As much as I say I'm going to go and I really, really want to go, the morning could come around and I can't go. Nurses can be quite different. My favourite nurses are the ones that listen to what you're saying. So they understand that you've been here loads of times, and they understand, for me, that the whole process of getting up in the morning and having a shower, that's a massively important thing to me when I'm an inpatient. It sounds like a stupid thing because you're just having a shower. But to me, that's normality. If I can get up and wash, I feel like I'm not so sick. Does that make any sense? So sometimes quite frequently, I'll have drips and stuff in, or, add a PICC line or whatever. And some nurses will help facilitate me to have that shower. They will understand it's important to me. They will wrap up my arm. And sometimes, I've had cases where I've been kind of told, you just can't wash today until your drip's out, or you can't wash with a PICC line. That's quite devastating to me. It's a tiny part of my day, but that to me is the difference between whether or not I carry on the day feeling a bit more normal or not. So I think just listening to what you're saying is important. The other thing that's really important to me is not doing procedures on me or stuff during the time my children come in, because when I'm an inpatient, my children can only come for an hour after school. I do find that with other patients more than me, there is a lot of lack of dignity. I've lost a lot of dignity through this disease, and when you're an inpatient, we've all got a complete lack of dignity. I mean, what if you got covering you up, a hospital gown and a really thin curtain that everyone can hear through? There's no privacy, and I have to see those nurses again and again and again, and that's quite hard, because you have to learn to not be embarrassed. You have to learn to just accept that your dignity is lost. I say to everybody, and it sounds really weird, but if I could have my life again, would I or would I not have had Crohn's disease? And you would think, wouldn't you, that I would say, I wish I'd never got it. Like, I would have eradicated it out of my life and been able to live this completely normal, great life. But actually, I don't think I would, because I think it's taught me so much. It's taught me so much of how life works, and it's taught me loads of great skills that probably I wouldn't have ever had if I hadn't had it. Like, for example, I've learnt to live in the moment. Like, I've learnt that when things are good, you have to just completely embrace all the goodness of that moment. So, when I wake up and I'm well, like now, like when I'm well, I am completely overjoyed about it, way more than any normal person would be, because most people don't ever learn to live in the moment. We're too busy worrying about next week or next year, what we're going to do. I don't care about next week or next year. I'm just like, today's a really good day, so I'm gonna have a really good day today. So and I wouldn't want to take that away, because I think it's a really lovely thing to have. Then I try really hard not to be a victim of my disease. It's a tiny part of my life. Do you know what I mean? I kind of think of it as that it's like I'm walking around with a backpack, right, of life. And my Crohn's disease is just something I have to carry in the bag. It's not actually me. It's not my life. I have just somebody that happens to have it. It's just unfortunately a backpack I can't put down. I can't ever just leave it at the bus stop.